What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I kind of wanted to take a moment to discuss the current competitive or the comp scene meta and compositions that we see, team compositions that we see, and kind of just discuss my thoughts on that, which I think boils down to, I've seen a lot of people complain about, hey, right now, if you're not running double heavy medium or double medium heavy composition, then you're pretty much, not going to be winning games, or you're not going to, it's not going to be viable. The reality is that I believe that that's just incorrect. I believe any composition is viable, to be honest, even down to triple light, if you wanted to run triple light, as long as you play to its strengths and weaknesses. And I think that's what it really comes down to, is understanding the strengths, understanding the weaknesses, and then playing to your strengths and making sure that you don't get your weaknesses exploited and exploit the weaknesses of other teams. Because every composition, right, has strengths and weaknesses. It's just some of them are more obvious, I guess, to kind of pick up on and easier to play around than others. But that doesn't mean that any composition isn't as viable, right? Again, you look at something like triple light, which is probably the furthest thing away from the current meta right now. And even that, I believe, is viable if you know how to play around its strengths and weaknesses. And so, as you can see in this gameplay footage that you're watching right now, me and my buddies, we're running a heavy, medium, light composition. Okay, which is not super far off the meta. We've got a heavy, we've got a medium, and then the light kind of plays a flanking, roamer type of role, and that works, right? You got to know how to play to your strengths and to your weaknesses. As a medium and as a medium main, my job is to basically hang around my heavy, okay, make sure that he's healed up, make sure that he's healthy, and then watch out for his back first, and the light kind of goes off and does their own thing, and kind of floats around to us, and we float around him, and they try to pick up the flanks and whatnot. And that's, if you play to those strengths and weaknesses, again, you're going to be able to find success against any composition. We actually end up qualifying here in this gameplay, and I think we're playing all kinds of meta compositions. There's double heavy mediums, double medium heavies, and I don't even know if anybody else was running light. Maybe they were, but point of the story is I really think at the end of the day, it's just about understanding what those things are. So what I mean by that is, if you look at, let's say, the meta composition right now, which to me is two heavy mediums or maybe two mediums heavy, but probably more realistically right now the most popular is two heavy and one medium, right? With that, the strengths for that are extremely obvious, right? You have sustainability right off the bat. You've got shields that heavies can use, barriers, all that kind of stuff to make, and obviously their HP. That makes it very difficult. There's got a lot of hit points to be able to take out, so it's very difficult to kill them on their own. As well as if you have a medium in that composition, you've now got heals if you're running heals. You've got defibrillator if you're running that. So basically, during these engagements, you're tanking a lot of hits. You're able to heal up those hits in the middle of a fight, as well as you're able to get right back into a fight even if you die. So right off the bat, the strengths are very, very obvious, right? And it's not as obvious to exploit the weaknesses of a heavy, double heavy medium team, right? But if you look at something like a triple light team, for instance, the weaknesses are very obvious and the strengths are not as obvious. But the reality is that if you play to those appropriately and better than the other teams, you're gonna find success. So I really don't think right now that there's any such thing as not a non-viable comp. I think every comp is viable right now. It's just people aren't playing to the strengths and weaknesses as best as they can. And I think as people get better and time goes on and people play this game more, we'll get to see more kind of off meta compositions, especially in competitive play. But even then, I would argue that I've seen a triple light team actually have success in my comp games, right? I've seen them go to the finals and win the finals. I've seen a double medium light composition go to the finals and win the finals. So, anything and everything in between, I think, is viable. It just comes down to playing to your strengths and weaknesses. So let me know what you guys think down below. Give me your opinions, give me your comments on the subject. And if you found this video interesting at all, why don't you give it a like, maybe even consider subscribing for more weekly videos.